Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Wander and Prepare. Today we have another cutting test for you, and this is on, I don't know if I call it a grail knife, but this is a knife that I've wanted for a long time. This is the LT Wright Genesis. So, got a chance to pick this one up the other day, and this one's kind of a unique one. And what I mean by unique is this one is actually in 3V. So there's the LT Wright logo. And on the other side, you'll see an X, and that X represents that this blade steel is CPM 3V, which is my favorite. So honestly, I didn't even know that they made one in CPM 3V. And as soon as I found it and as soon as I saw it, I was like, yep, I really want that one. So super excited about this one. So I was able to pick it up, and this was not sent to me, by the way, so I did buy this one with my own money. But we're gonna check it out today. So the look, feel, and finish is exactly what you expect from a legendary maker like LT Wright. It feels amazing in the hand, and just, I mean, no imperfections on it whatsoever. And then I went ahead and tied this lanyard on there, so I have some survivor cord, a glow bead, and then like a little metal bead that I put on there. And that just really helps from the deep carry sheath. It goes in there pretty far, which is really nice to kind of get a good hold to pull that out really easily. So leather sheath, really good retention, holds in there just fine. It has a dangler style sheath to it. So basically what this is, your belt goes through there, and then this kind of dangles down once you hold it. Now it has a secondary loop, so you can actually put this down and you can put your belt through there. But I think a lot of people kind of like the dangler sheath just so it swings free, so when you sit down you can kind of pull it out of the way and things like that. And it comes with a little loop for a fire steel. I went ahead and put a very inexpensive one in here, but pretty excited to have this one, and we're gonna see how it does. But again, this is the LT Wright Genesis, just a awesome looking knife. So this is a natural micarta handle. It's got copper pins in it, and just super cool knife. Oh, by the way, so just a little bit about it. So again, I told you it's CPM 3V. So this is a full flat grind. Now what that means is that grind goes from the very top of the edge all the way down to the bottom, just where that very little edge is. So this thing should be super slicey. And then at the end, this is definitely kind of the quintessential outdoor knife. And if anybody knows what I always expect of an outdoor knife, we're gonna see if it can strike a ferro rod and light a fire. So all right, let's dig in. You know we always start with a paper test. So by the way, before I start, I do want to say something. So I've been noticing the last few knives that I've gotten, they seem to have a very rough edge on there. And what I mean by rough is the grind marks in it is quite rough to the touch. So I did touch this one up on the leather strop. I did not sharpen it whatsoever, but I did run it across the leather strop a few times, and that just kind of takes a little bit of that roughness out of there. So you guys tell me in the comments, is that cheating? Do you want to see it with me actually doing absolutely nothing to it, or leather strop okay? So I just think sometimes getting those little machine marks off helps it perform just a little bit better, and don't feel like that's cheating, but you guys tell me in the comments and let me know. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the paper test. Uh-oh, that's me, that's not the knife. The wind's not doing me any favors today. There we go. All right, so cuts that paper pretty well. All right, so now let's dig in. What do we want to start with today? Let's start with the rope. So here is some very cheap rope. This is not climbing rope, by the way, so very inexpensive, not very strong, but let's see how it does. Oh my goodness. I mean, I gotta do that again. That was really fun. Push down, roll forward just a little bit. I mean, it just slices through there with ease. I gotta do it one more time. That's just fun. And I mean, absolutely leaves no threads behind whatsoever. So, well, that one was no problem. Well, all right, so let's step it up. This is the survivor cord. And I always show you guys, but for those of you watching my video first, right there, that's what makes this cord so hard. This is actually a survivor cord, Titan survivor cord, and it has a metal snare in there. And this is either 650 or 750 rated. So let's go ahead and cut through it this way first. Most knives are able to get through this one pretty easy. And this one no exception, although I will say I felt that metal snare drag across that blade quite a bit. So this is where they all struggle, is to cut it once I get it on the table like this. So let's see how it does. Not quite. Oh, there we go. All right, got through it with ease. I think it got through that metal wire just fine. I think what I was hanging up on is just a couple of these little fibers down here. I think that's all that I was snagging on, is just kind of getting those up against the table there. So, but got through that one with relative ease. All right, before we get to the thicker ropes, I hadn't seen this one in a while. I forgot to put it in some of the videos, but this is a plastic clothesline. It's not the clothesline that has metal in between, it just has some little fibers in there, but pretty hard stuff. So, but let's see how it does in getting through it. Got to put a little bit of force on there, but oh, it goes through it pretty easy though. All right, so I know we talked about this before too, but this one's a little better than most. So when I have all 4 fingers on the blade, on the handle, I can get from that part of the blade up, so I can use all of that, but I can't use any of that back part right there, but actually better than most. And by the way, this knife, this is a classic Kepart style knife. I probably need to do a little more research to find out where that comes from, but very classic style. Do that a few more times because it's just fun, quite honestly. All right, gets through that relative ease. All right, now let's see how they do up against the rope. So this is just some standard jute twine. Usually gets through this pretty easily, but a lot of them struggle to kind of get those little last few fibers. So let's just see how it does. Going through it pretty easy. Got a saw a little bit. I'm going to turn it while I cut it. Oh, that went through it real easy then. Whoa, look at that. And that is a pretty clean cut too. All right. So let's step it up. So this is a polypropylene rope, and this one is rated to, I think it was 1,000 pounds. But I told the story a few times, but I actually got this at Tractor Supply, and nobody there had a knife that could cut it, and they actually had to use a chain cutter to cut this. So let's see how this knife does with it. Going through them, trying to turn it and roll it at the same time. See how it does. All right. All right, we're struggling on those last few fibers there, but pretty clean cut other than those last few. Quite honestly, went through it a lot easier than a lot of knives we've cut on this table. And I told y'all, I hate a dirty knife. I don't have a rag with me, so I'm gonna have to wipe it on my shirt. It's all right. All right, so now let's do the toe strap. So this is a 24,000 pound toe strap. And let's see how it does cutting through that. I mean, pretty easy if you ask me. All right, so the most knives can get through that one okay. What they struggle with is when it's on the table trying to cut through it. So let's see how it does going through that. I mean, had to put a little pressure, but talk about a clean cut. This side, you can see it even cleaner. I mean, that was pretty nice and went through it with relative ease. All right, so here we have a rubber hose, and this is reinforced. You can see the reinforcements a little bit, and then on the outside there you can kind of see the reinforcements inside there too. So this is a radiator hose, really hard, thick stuff, but let's see how it does cutting through that. Struggling just a hair. Well, once it started cutting though, it went through just fine. All right, let's see how it does on the edge there. Oh man, cuts through that like butter. All right, let's just see if maybe I was doing something wrong there. Oh yeah, I was, because it cut through way easier that time. Oh, that's just fun. All right, put that aside. And now we have some zip ties. So I got a couple more zip ties on the table. I went searching to see if I could just up my game a little bit with zip ties. So we got 50, all the way up to 450 pound tensile strength. And we're gonna see how these things cut. So this is the 51, don't expect any issues here. And none whatsoever. Let's see how it does on the table going through it. Again, with ease. All right, stepping it up. This one's just a little bit more. Oh, that was probably me. All right, took a little bit to go through that one. See how it does on the table. I can get a good grip on it there. All right, got through that one pretty easily. Took a little force though. All right, and this one I think is 300 or 350 pounds. Let's see what this one. So the difference in, by the way, this one and the really heavy duty one. So see how this one's smooth on one side and then it's got the little notches on the other? That really heavy duty one, it's notched on both sides and considerably thicker. So this one's around 300 pounds. So let's see how it does. Goes through it pretty easily. All right, put it on the table there. Oop, goes through that pretty easily too. All right, so first time ever on Wander and Prepare, this is a 450 pound zip tie. All right, I know I'm gonna have to put a little pressure on this one, so got through it. Pretty clean cut. Let's see if I can even go through it when it's on the table like this. All right, I'm gonna rock back and forth there a little on it. Not through it yet. All right, almost through it. Shrugging just a little bit. That last loop, there it goes. So there we go. I'm liking the new zip tie, guys. What about you? All right, so that's everything on that side. Now let's do some standard cardboard. Now, this is not the exact knife you'd use for cardboard, but you know, hey, we got some cardboard, so let's cut it. So really interesting, the cup art style knife. So there is no sharpening coil right there. And I know a lot of times you guys will see me get hung up on that. I do like to have one. So that's, I guess, one of the somewhat negatives of this knife, but that's just kind of this style of knife. It just doesn't have one. I mean, that's super fun. All right. Doesn't struggle at all with the cardboard. All right. So I told y'all, when it is an outdoor knife, I think it should be strong enough to baton through something. So let's check it out. Let's see how it does. By the way, this is my new whammer that I made the other day. First time it's actually made it in a video since I made it. So there it goes. Gets through it pretty easily. Let's go ahead and take a close-up of that edge. No damage whatsoever, none that I would expect to with CPM 3V. That's probably why 3V is one of my favorite steels. It is hands down one of the hardest, or not hardest, but the toughest steels out there. So very big difference in hardness and toughness. Video for another day. But so it can do the big task like that, but I just want to show you it can also do those fine tasks too. So I'm not great at feather sticking, so I'm not trying to do a feather stick, but just so you see, it can do those fine shavings as well, and get those pretty good, pretty easily. All right. So the last thing I talked about is with a outdoor knife, I expect that you should be able to strike a ferro rod and start a fire with it. Now, I happen to known this about LT Wright knives for a while, but he probably does one of the best sharpening of the spine, and you can actually see it. Let's see if you can see. So right here is kind of the handle part, and you can see right there. Let's see if I can rock it a little bit and see if you can see in there. He literally, they obviously take like a little grinder and just sharpen that spine just a little bit. And that's not sharp like it's gonna cut you, but man, when it talks about throwing a spark, I mean, probably one of the best in the business. I mean, just absolutely incredible. So let's just see how it does and see if it can get this started. I think this is me more than the fire starter, by the way. There you go. Now it's burning. So there you guys have it. The LT Wright Genesis. Now, guys, look, when you strike a ferro rod, and I think that's why a lot of guys don't like this, it makes your knife look ugly. But you can literally get something, wipe it, and it comes right off. Just clean your knives afterwards. Don't worry about what it makes your knife look like when you strike the ferro rod. Again, you can clean it, and if you're not oiling your knives regularly, come on, get with the program. But there you have it. So this is the LT Wright Genesis. Super cool knife, and if you are not familiar with LT Wright, go check him out. He makes some of the best outdoor knives in the industry, and hands down, one of the best 90-degree spines I've ever come into contact with. But most of his knives are in O2 tool steel, O1 and O2. So O2 is kind of LT's favorite steel, but he made a couple in 3V, and a couple things you'll see out there every once in a while in Magna Cut. But super cool. This is the LT Wright Genesis, and just an absolute beauty of a knife, beauty of a sheath, and man, not much you can't do with this. So guys, just remember, as we're out there wandering and preparing, let's make sure we do so by faith and not by sight. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much.